Welcome back everyone, and it's time to go balls deep! In this video, we will be discussing the Nomus, the Doctor's agenda with Shigaraki's new power, and lastly, even more evidence I came across regarding how Deku unlocks the different quirks in One for All, adding to my analysis from previous videos. So let's begin with covering the recent chapters of 261 and 262. And boy! Was balls deep prediction magic on point for these chapters. The Doctor does end up releasing the High-end Nomu incomplete, sacrificing them for his need to save Shigaraki's life as well as his own. The chapter was, heavily Miruko focused, which you know what that means.
You naughty, you teasing me.
The quirk-stealing Dr. Saab is miraculously saved by Mocha as Miruko tries to capture him. The other heroes cannot help at the moment as they are busy dealing with the Nomu at the hospital. The Doctor explains that the high-end Nomu are difficult to create without the help of All for One, and they also require 10 hours to stabilize after they are activated to reach their full potential. So after this raid, if the Doctor wants to recoup their losses due to the amount of time it requires to create Nomu, as he also has confirmed that he has lost all the quirks he had gathered over the years in chapter 260, he can suggest a strategy to Shigaraki to break All for One out of prison to help proceed in the goal of the Liberation Front so they can win the war against the heroes. This is because one of the goals of the army was to use twice his quirk to double the Nomu against the heroes so that they would have no chance against the sheer numbers. Nomus are really important to their power and strategy. If they lost them all, they need to create a strategy to get them back. Furthermore, the fact that the Doctor is calling Mocha a miracle for using his free will to save him is foreshadowing the fact that Shigaraki will become the perfect Nomu as the Doctor's experiments have been evolving each time. For example, in the new Heroes Rising movie, we learn that 9 is pretty much an experiment which the Doctor used to help figure out how to correctly do the copy procedure on Shigaraki. On top of that, the movie describes that 9 is like a Nomu. The surgery the Doctor has completed on Shigaraki's body is to give him the powers of copying someone's quirk. Shigaraki's body can take multiple quirks just like 9 or All for One. However, it is also to merge the duplication technology within him. The Doctor explained to Shigaraki in chapter 246 that the power he will give him is similar to All for One, but he didn't want it. And he also describes that it will likely let him surpass him. We've already seen the duplication technology where All for One and Johnny, yes papa, share the same quirk called Black Walk. So the build up to this reveal has been quite evident. In chapter 262, we see that Shigaraki is 71% complete and the Doctor intends to wait for the Nomu to fend off the heroes long enough to awaken him. The Doctor literally says that there is no means for them to escape other than buying time since Johnny is dead. This concludes the fact that once Shigaraki wakes up, I don't see how all the heroes will escape this event out alive, fam. 1 or 2 heroes will perish, as it is pretty obvious with Shigaraki's personality that he would want to test out his new powers and will be really angry as his suspicions of Hawks will be confirmed that he is a spy and his plans have been thwarted. They have no means of escape except for breaking through. So what if the Doctor is forced to wake him up early or manages to get him to 100%? Shigaraki is gonna go apeshit, fam. As we already know, Nomus are corpses that possess multiple quirks. There are 3 Nomu tiers: low end, mid end, and high end. Low-end Nomus are the ones we see running around like fodder and causing a nuisance to low-tier pro heroes. For example, Konohamaru from Boruto.
Know your fucking place, trash.
Alright, this Konohamaru bullying needs to stop, doesn't it? Should I stop, guys? This guy is begging for some goddamn love. Low-end Nomus are light in color and possess a variety of quirks including enhanced physical strength. For example, the Nomus at Kamino. The Nomus we see in the USJ arc are the ones who have more defined quirks and traits are mid-end. These Nomus are black in color and possess super regeneration like the one from the USJ arc. One of them was able to overpower 100% One for All. These Nomus can even take on pro heroes as they are quite durable with enhanced strength. However, the high-end Nomu are intelligent Nomu that that completely outclass the others that have some sort of personality and can speak. They have the abilities that even overpower pro heroes and can kill them quite easily. They have over 6 different quirks inside them. These are part of the same Nomu class that gave Endeavor his scar and pushed him to his limits. In this chapter, we learn that there's also tiers of the high-end Nomus themselves. It is said that the lowest of the high-tier Nomus have more than 10 times the strength of that of a normal human being, and above that are the high-ends with even greater specs like Hood. But fam, let me get this straight. The Nomu that fought All Might at USJ was a mid-end Nomu, not even low tier high-end, right? He couldn't even beat him, and All Might had to go 100% one for all and use so many multiple punches. He went crazy, he went plus ultra, right? This is All Might, the symbol of peace. Like what the fuck, bruh? How is this Miruko, this bunny girl senpai? I know she's like Captain Thickums over here and everything. She's beating these high-end Nomus which are supposed to be stronger than mid-ends with one kick. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? The power scaling is crazy here, fam. Even if we take Shigaraki's word in the USJ arc fight where he says that that specific Nomu that All Might was facing was specifically made just to face him as it had the shock absorption quirk, right? Then why doesn't all the high ends have shock absorption too? This quirk should be the bare minimum, right? And we just learned that the doctor has copy quirks, so he could have just done this all the time. Anyway, Miruko in the meanwhile uses her bunny ears to hear the doctor's plan and that he is still around trying to escape as he is shitting his pants. She decides to go plus ultra using all her powers at full force against the high-ends. However, in the process she loses her arm. Now in chapter 188, when Endeavor faced the high-end Nomu Hood, they discovered that Nomu will be able to regenerate everything, their limbs and body, as long as their heads are intact. With this intel the heroes gained, and with Miruko being angry, she decides to use her thick thighs and literally explodes the head of a Nomu. So as we can see in chapter 262, Miruko has now lost her arm and she's being all badass using her own hair to tie it in a knot, acting as though it's no big deal. This brings up the theory that since she will now be disabled after this event, and with her character development being so prominent, if she does not die, which I don't think she is since she freaking declares it whilst licking some goddamn blood, it only suggests what her role will be while she is recovering from her injury, and that's becoming Deku's teacher for a while. The latest My Hero Academia chapters have shown a lot of emphasis on her power due to her leg strength and kicking technique, whilst Deku is someone that just discovered his legs, right? Deku is trying to master One for All to get a higher percentage so he can unlock all the other quirks within it by reaching this singularity, right? Like All for One's brother mentioned in their vestige memory. But speaking of vestiges, another point I'd like to make is adding to my analysis from my previous video on how Deku will unlock the third quirk of Float from Nana Shimura. When we saw Deku unlock his second quirk, the fifth One for All user states that he unlocked this power because he had a strong feeling of wanting to capture the individual. His Black Whip power would allow for this to occur and was specifically used for that purpose. This formed the connection between the two, thus allowing him to use it. The other users and All Might were not able to use everyone else's powers yet because the core of One for All was not built up yet and they were only receiving visions of the past. In chapter 194, All Might himself did not know that the vestiges speak or have a conscience, and even confirms in chapter 217 that even Nana Shimura did not know this either. However, Deku describes his experience with One for All, proving once again that One for All quirk has a will and it's kind of sentient. All Might stated in chapter 257 that One for All users knew their mission and their destiny was to help pass on the power to defeat All for One, as he has been around for at least 120 to 180 years causing havoc around the country. One for All is an example of a quirk that is getting way too strong for the human body to possess. That's why it's so important that Deku, the 9th user, has to end All for One and Shigaraki in the war. The 10th user of One For All likely would not be able to use the power properly, as their literal arms and legs would explode from the power. If Deku's breaking all his bones whenever he goes 100%, bruh, the 10th, 11th, 15th user, their whole body would explode just trying to use it. They figure out that the Black Whip quirk and the others does not appear if Deku is feeling cornered or in trouble, but it may be because he knows it's only training and not that serious. Deku cannot control the presence of when the users appear to help him when the connection is first formed, right? But he later masters Black Whip within a span of a few months. Bakugo asks Deku in chapter 217 what the hell is triggering his powers to manifest, where Deku says it must be because the users told him that it was the right time for him to unlock and receive the Black Whip quirk. But Bakugo argues that it's something to linked with All For One, as Deku is basically the same thing as him, who has multiple quirks. I believe Bakugo and All Might are correct that the quirk is linked to All For One. This is because One For All is the destined quirk to destroy All For One, as it is the only quirk in the whole world that he cannot steal or be copied. One For All cannot be stolen because the user of the quirk has to willingly decide to give it to you with the intention of transferring it. Trying to steal it does nothing. That's why All For One never did so, and this is showcased to us yet again in the Heroes Rising movie with 9, as he couldn't do it. Monoma Nato also already confirmed to us that copying One For All does nothing since it's an accumulation quirk. We know this is true, as One For All is getting stronger and stronger, storing more power as the more users it's passed down to. This is how the quirk was actually created and how the first One For All user described it. So this proves once again how the quirk works, where the previous users are somewhat aware of what is happening around them. All Might and Deku says it's a miracle that he receives his quirk back after transferring it to Bakugo in the Heroes Rising movie. But I think this is because they don't fully understand the quirk yet, as they do not have all the memory of the vestiges. At the end of the day, all of my analysis proves once again with my theory, giving it even more evidence of how Deku will unlock Nana's quirk flow, since it has been confirmed the quirk has a will and controls when he can receive more power. So when the 5th user says my quirk was used to capture people and you had a feeling of capturing them, Nana's quirk could be used to save people, because remember when she saved All Might and used a quirk on him and made him float away in the air so she can go fight All For One on her own. She used to use this power to save people from death, right? So this can be the case again. As I explained in the video already, Shigaraki will likely demolish the surroundings that put heroes in danger and go on a rampage to escape. As you can see in the Nana clip, All For One has destroyed the buildings around them and everything's gone crazy. Now the float quirk can be used as a plot device to help Deku unlock the power in this moment to save some people's lives. Nana should feel like it's the right time to give it to him, since it's her own grandson and Deku has no other way of saving others in that moment of time. Her quirk is the counter to Shigaraki's decay, as he demolishes buildings or the ground as he's trying to escape. Either way, when Deku unlocks flow, it will be in a manner where Nana will showcase her presence to him, explain more of the past of what happened, and maybe give even more tips of how to use her power and what to do. Damn, that was kind of balls deep, but let's talk about Hawk's situation as a spy within the Liberation Army next. Back in chapter 258, we saw Hawks had gathered a bit of information about the army. He had befriended Twice and everything seemed to be going his way. So we all know Hawks is a spy inside the army. And in chapter 258, he realized that Twice is the most dangerous person and he manipulates the conversation so that he reveals some information regarding the army's different units and their members. I mean, Hawks has been saying that the heroes have no chance against Shigaraki since his introduction as a spy. If you can remember, even in chapter 240, he said the same thing, that Shigaraki is way too powerful even against the heroes. Now, as you guys know, Twice got some broken shadow clone dojutsu and can basically clone the Nomus and even anything that he wants. This is why Hawks made sure that he informed the heroes of Twice's quirk, as they already knew that the doctor may be a clone at the hospital, whereas Miruko found the real one. This is why they split their divisions. So after chapter 258, they then decided to launch a full-on attack on the villains before Shigaraki could even pose a threat. As we saw in chapter 262, Hawks' identity as a spy has been exposed by the Liberation Army. We saw the long-haired guy whom Twice said was monitoring them through the bugs planted on Hawks mentioned in chapter 258, and he was not ready to meet Shigaraki yet. So Hawks knew that people were watching him and he was bugged. They were listening to his conversations, so they found some information on him. And the third group, most likely with Deku and the UA gang, are attacking the main hideout. Hawks' identity as a spy has been busted, and Shigaraki will surely know it's him, since he already had his suspicions motivations revealed in the Hero Rising movie and even multiple chapters. But a big question the fanbase has, however, did Hawks kill Genis whilst he was a spy? I don't think so. Hawks probably told the Hero Commission about his true issues with the League, and they probably got a dead body which looked like Genis. Hawks then told Genis how much danger the PLF posed to the well-being of the world, as he already had his suspicions that they were too powerful for the heroes, and he made him play along in the wrecking of his apartment and hide until the war is over. That's why in the panel we see Hawks drawing his sword against him, but then it cuts away without us knowing what actually happened. I mean, think about it. What would all the other heroes think of Hawks if they found out that he killed another hero, let alone the number 3 hero for the greater good? The heroes are supposed to be righteous and virtuous. Even Endeavor, the most villainous type of hero, he even cares about saving people and takes his job very seriously. However, you can argue that when the police force gave Hawks this mission, it did say not to care about anyone and ignore the victims it would create, thus putting imperative on completing the task of being a spy. But as we saw after the High-end Nomu hood fight, Darby asks Hawks why were there less casualties, and he says that he had to put up appearances. So this does mean that Hawks, even though he is allowed to kill anybody he wants for his mission of being a spy, he isn't enforcing it. At the end of the day, we know Bakugo is waiting on telling Best Genis his hero name that he decided for his character development, so he will either tell him whilst fighting him as a Nomu if Hawks did indeed kill him, or once he comes out of hiding after this arc, since Hawks' cover is already blown. Anyway guys, that's everything that I wanted to say on my analysis on everything so far. Let me know your opinion in the comment section below, smash that like button, follow us on Instagram or Twitter, and I'll see you guys next time.